Welcome once again to Let's Talk Marriage. This is Pastor Larry coming to you this Wednesday afternoon with Let's Talk Marriage. All right, we're going to get right on into our program. Our program on today is going to be, we're going to be talking about spending time with your family or your loved ones. Hope everyone is doing well. If you woke up this morning, you are doing well. All right, we just came back from our family, just came back from, or part of our family just came back from vacation. And we spent about Sunday to Sunday, so about 7 days, 7, 8 days on vacation. And we had such a wonderful time. It's always good to get away. We went out to the Los Angeles or the LA area. Last year, I believe we went to Florida, and we wanted to go back to LA this year, so we went back to LA. This is like the fourth or fifth time that we've been to LA, but this was, I think, was the most enjoyable because we got to do a lot more things. Last time we were in LA, it was right after or somewhere near the pandemic. So a lot of the things were closed. So this time everything was open. Crowds were fully in full force. Everything was running like it normally does in LA, of course, with the traffic. But we still had a wonderful time. And I encourage all of you to take time with your family and make those memorable occasions. And everybody know whenever I go somewhere, I take tons and tons of pictures because I'm a photographer as well. So I love taking pictures, the street photography as well as landscape and all those things. But we had such a wonderful time, and I took tons of pictures of family. We did visit family and friends while we were out there, and we had such a wonderful time. So I encourage families to make those memories. You don't have to do anything elaborate, but make sure you do set those. Have that part of your goals to take some sort of vacation, so that way you'll get to experience different things. You have memories to talk about. When we always want to remember the bad things. But if you set those goals to make those memorable uh, vacations and things you can talk about and share with your family and friends. We were fortunate enough to go, and we had a wonderful time out there in LA. And we try to make sure that we take a vacation, at least a real vacation, at least once a year. Because a lot of times we go and visit relatives. There's nothing wrong with that, but that's not really a vacation. That's going visiting relatives. You're just spending time and taking time to spend time with your relatives, which is fine. But you should also make those occasions where you actually take a vacation, go somewhere maybe it's exotic, or some people like to go to the islands or Mexico or things like this, or cruises. Make sure you set those goals. And being Christians, a lot of people think that you can't enjoy life, but being Christians, you should really be enjoying life because you have a reason to enjoy life. Because God has done so much in our lives, and He's blessed us so much, and we're so fortunate to be children of God, and to be saints. We should be enjoying each other and enjoying our family, enjoying our spouse. And if you couples that don't have kids, you really should be making those memorable things, because when kids come along, you can still travel, but it's a whole different arena. You have to make the decision whether you're gonna fly with children on the airplane, or you want to take that road trip or make that road trip. So those are the things you have to look forward to and things you have to consider in your marriage, and make sure you spend time with your spouse and with your children. Sometimes children don't want to spend, once they get to a certain age, they don't want to spend time with your family. But at least take at some point in your life, spend some time with your family, because you never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to occur. So make sure that you spend time with our family, and it's all about, and that's what our ministry about at the New Zion Christian Center. We're all about focusing on our families, because that is the cornerstone and that is the foundation of our churches, is the family. When you could have like 3 or 4 families in your church, you've got a congregation, and you have a variety of people in your congregation, from young people to teenagers to young adults, and sometimes elderly in your congregation. So make sure that we are focusing on our families. And we always talk about our families on the program. That's what we're all about on Let's Talk Marriage, because instead of spending time arguing and and bickering with your spouse, make some memories, some enjoyable memories by taking your, especially the ones that don't have kids, or your kids are all your empty nesters. Make sure you spend some time with your spouse. If you're not a couple that like to do a lot of walking, take a vacation where there's a relaxing vacation. Some people go to places where there's just beaches or water, and you just sit and relax on the beach and enjoy life. So that's what it's all about. So we have to make sure that we are doing these things with our family to make those memorable memories with our families, because we always focus on the bad things that happen, the bickering and all those things like that, or the negative part of being in. We always make it seem like being a Christian is boring, it's no fun. It's what you make it. And it's nowhere near, you can have just as much fun as someone that's a big partier or a big drinker. You can have as much fun as they do. You just have to make sure that the fun that you're doing, or what you're doing, is clean fun. And we have to make sure that we are enjoying each other as couples and as family. It's so important. And again, we had such a wonderful time. I would like to thank my wife and my daughter and my nephew that went along with us. We had such a enjoyable time, and it was this first time being in LA, and we saw some new things in LA that we hadn't seen before, because, like I said, last time we were there was during the pandemic. But God has such a beautiful created such a beautiful world for us. I mean, there's a lot of bad things that go on in the world, but when you become a child of God, you should only be seeing the beauty that God created. And looking at that vast ocean, is just amazing. It seems like it just goes on and on. And what God has done. And then when you get there, you see those mountains and how high they are. You're like, wow, I'm just such a small creature. And you could imagine how we look in the sight of God. We're just small creatures, but He gives us all these things for us to enjoy, and we should really be enjoying them. So plan a trip with your family. I guarantee you, it will solve so many problems. Just plan a trip. If you can't afford an expensive trip, plan a local trip. You can go to a local, just to the next state. Just enjoy life as Christians, and just good, clean fun, and that's what we had. Good, clean fun, and it was so enjoyable. Mainly because I was with my wonderful, wonderful wife that made it such a wonderful trip. And usually when we go out of town, because a lot of times she gets car sick, so she does all the driving. So I just sat back and take the pictures, But we had such a wonderful time, and I can't talk about it more. And I want you to enjoy your families as being Christians, and enjoy what God has given us. We are so blessed at this day, because when I was coming up, we couldn't afford to do anything like that. And I look back and think about how far God has brought our family. Even when I first got married, we couldn't afford things like this. But even after we even though we couldn't afford it, we were blessed with a free trip to because we had never had a honeymoon when we first got married, but God blessed us with a free honeymoon, all expenses paid and pocket cash, and so we were able to go to Rio de Janeiro, and that was the first time we flown, and our first flight was like over 10 hours. So God has always blessed us in that area. So just take that time to spend with your family, spend time with your grandparents, because they're not going to be here forever. Make sure you sit down and listen to them. A lot of that's what's the problem with a lot of our young people. They don't listen to their grandparents and the stories that they tell. You might have heard that story 10 times, but there's always a meaning and a purpose for the stories that they tell. So sit down and listen to them. And then when your children become of age, tell them those stories. That's how our history gets passed along. Because if you read the history books, they got a whole different uh, story to tell. And the story is not altogether all truth. So we have to make sure that we listen to our grandparents, especially those that are fortunate enough to still have your grandparents, and especially if they came from the South. They can tell you stories that you never heard, you think you went through, you think you're going through. Listen to the stories that your grandparents tell. And when they tell those stories, you'll be amazed at what they went through in order for you to be where you are. Just like our Lord and Savior, the things that He went through for you to be where you are today. This is Pastor Larry. I'm going to be signing off until we meet again. Remember to take your family somewhere. This is Pastor Larry. Until we meet again, we're going to be signing off with Let's Talk Marriage. All right, until we meet again. All right. I want to take this opportunity to invite you out to our services at New Zion Christian Center. We're located right now at 15014 Desplaines Street in Plainfield, Illinois. Our services begin Sunday mornings at 11 a.m. And remember, if you have any questions or concerns, you can contact me on our website or on Facebook. My number is out there. If you have any questions relating to your family and need counseling, we are available for that at New Giant Christian Center. Until we meet again, this is Pastor Larry. We're going to be signing off with Let's Talk Marriage.